What are some action steps that you can take if you feel distant from God? I know that you said that sometimes unconfessed sin in our life can create a distance, but in every relationship, God including, we can have times where we feel closer together or more distant. So I wonder if you could speak to that.
I think there are some things we can do and some things we can stop doing.
Okay.
I think we live in a time and culture in which there's so much noise, there's so much activity, there's social media and there's TV and all sorts of ways that take up our time. I think the average American watches like 4 hours of television a day, and that's sort of hard for me to comprehend. And so I think there's some things we need to stop doing because our busyness is a way that we try and avoid encountering God in a life-changing way. And so I recommend that people embrace one of the spiritual disciplines of solitude and silence. The typical response to the question you just asked by lots of preacher-type people, of which I'm one, was you just need to read your Bible, you need to pray more. Those are great spiritual disciplines. I think we need to do that. But we tend to do it in very short periods of time, and we don't take the time to reflect on it and to incorporate it into our own lives. And so, for example, you will have a hard time believing this because maybe we need to have you do this. I've gone on 4-day silent retreats at Catholic monasteries.
Oh.
In which there's complete silence, other than the monks in their evening worship service will chant. Just marvelous. I've gone on retreats up in the mountains for several days and only met with folks, and we talked during the meals. And even our staff has gone up to the Peaks of Otter. It's a national park near here, and the staff has not been allowed to talk during the day other than the meals. And for some staff, this is hard. But I think silence and solitude is something that's really something we need to recapture if we want to overcome some of that distance. Now, there are sins in our lives that separate us, but I think the thing I would focus on today is we need to make space, we need to make room, we need to be quiet, and then through Bible study, through prayer, for any number of spiritual disciplines, we can connect with God. There's a book by Richard Foster called Celebration of Discipline, List 12 Disciplines. I started reading the book, and after I read the first couple of pages, I quit because I knew I wasn't ready to do that spiritually. So I had to come back to it a year or two later. That might be something that would be helpful to people to read that.
Okay, awesome. So we can put a link to that book as well in the comments. So I hope you'll check it out. I have that book. I, too, have begun reading it. Can't say I finished it, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff in there. You mentioned